Dang, bruh. I hate that I gotta make this video. But anywho, now for those who know me, you may be wondering, what is all this about? And for those who don't know me, you may be wondering, what is all this about? So, there are many issues here, and I'm going to get to each one section at a time. Starting with the most severe one. This man right here, he goes by the username antihero_rogue. His real name is Talik Dennison, and this man is a pedophile. Now, I'm not just sitting here throwing accusations on people's names. I have the proof and lots of it, all of which I'm going to show you on screen as we go along. We're going to go through this one by one. Now, as you can see on screen, and if you are to skip down to the absolute last text in this picture, this is a conversation that this grown man is having with someone that is 9 years younger than him. Keep in mind, at the time of this photo, he is between the ages of 22 and 23. Now, let me show you the timeline so that you know that I'm not lying. These are the screenshots of him in my ex's DMs back in 2022. His birthday is December 23rd, 1999. This screenshot specifically is from May 13th, 2022, making him exactly 22 years old. And my ex was 15. Now, this screenshot here is from June 25th, 2023. And now that we know his date of birth and its relation to the other pictures, we can calculate that by the time of June 25th, 2023, Talik is now 23 and a half years old, meaning that the girl that he was talking to was 14 years old. This screenshot was sent by Sean, someone who, despite knowing what's going on and having proof of that exact same situation, still defends Talik and sees no problem in Talik's actions. Now, you're most likely not going to be able to find his Instagram name because he changes his tag and username like people change clothes. So, this is all I got. Best of luck to you. Here's a little recap before we go to the next section. Talik is 22. Texting my ex, who was 15 years old at the time, that he misses that big booty. Bro, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, bro. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. That's wild to text to a 15-year-old, bro. That's wild. That is wild. You're 22. You're, bro, bro. I'm about to stop being professional, bro. You at your big old age at the time of 22 years old, 22 years on this planet, and you decide you want to text a 15-year-old that you miss that big booty. Second half of the recap. Now he's 23 in this screenshot, and he's texting a 14-year-old, telling her that when she turns 18, they'll be sitting pretty. So he's pre-ordering minors now. He's pre-ordering minors. Hey, where the caves at? I don't see not one cave, not one block of coal, and I don't see a tunnel with a mine full of gold. What I do see is worse, and it gets worse as it unfolds. This is a grown man flirting with a 14-year-old.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, drop it as I go. I don't think so. I'm going with the get off slave, so I gotta hit the show. I don't quit, so it's in the time to go.
Man, this whole section didn't even have to be like this, but she brought this on herself. Let me give y'all a little background into all this. Long ago, we were all one big group. Fast forward, me and Don had a disagreement that became major. It was also around that same time that I felt like I was being treated differently by the group. So I left. And Yaz came along with me. For what reason? I don't know. Now, me and Yaz became pretty good friends. Fast forward some more time, and Yaz begins to start dating. Now, I would notice that whenever she got into a relationship, she would start gaining a holier than thou mindset, as well as being more irritable when it came to me. Yes, we had our disagreements at times, and yes, there were times where I may have hurt her feelings, but along with sincerely apologizing, I would not do that thing that made her upset again. Prime example, Yaz is a light-skinned woman, so I made a joke that she was half white. This made her upset, talking about something that doesn't make me any less of a black person than you. I'm still black. Now pay attention. Prince has made that same joke about her being half white. And what does she say to him? What does she do in retaliation? Nothing. And that's how I knew it was finna go downhill from there. Now with this situation specifically, Dunn had Yaz blocked. So I convinced him to unblock her so that we can all be on good terms. I would notice that as she got closer to Dunn again, she would start getting more disrespectful with me. And then it would be like she wouldn't even want to hear my voice. There would be situations where it's late at night and I would request that she would stay up a little longer. Now, what I got in retaliation is the reason why I put all that on my story talking about going places. She would start lashing out at me if I asked her to stay up. She said, and I quote,
I actually go places, unlike you who just sits there.
Now let me explain to you the reason why that section right there makes me upset. Firstly, while it's true I'm not much of an outside person, I go to work, I go to the gym, and I go home. There's nothing extra for me out here. I live in the middle of nowhere. I don't like being around a lot of people for a long period of time, and I'm not finna drive an hour to some bigger town to do something that I don't like. Secondly, Yaz started getting a lot of her information from Sean, and I know Sean in real life. He would be slandering my name while I wasn't there, and Yaz would just be the clueless sponge soaking it all up. And then she would start using that in her arguments whenever she was upset with me. Third, during that period of time, I quite literally couldn't go anywhere because I was taking care of my mom. And Sean was aware of this. We go to the same church as him. My mom is good friends with his mom. They both go to the exact same church. That church was aware of the situation, and Sean is forced to go to that church. The church sent my mom gifts. Everybody, either from that church or from that small town, saw the situation, saw what was going on to some capacity, or at least heard about it. And for him to know that situation and to still be slandering my name to somebody as gullible as Yaz, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, Sean. And Yaz, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for listening. Now for the second part. Backtracking to how she would lash out at me if I asked her to stay up a little longer. She would hit me with the whole go places thing, even though she don't go nowhere but work and back home, just like me. You know? Well, when Dawn suggests that she should stay up a little longer, that's where she gives her soft girl responses.
Aw, no, but I'm tired. My eyes hurt. Come on, Don. I'm tired.
Another thing that let me know exactly where this was finna go. And for the last thing that broke it. The last time that she was in the party, she said that she was gonna be in here for a little bit and then she was gonna leave. Now, Don was not at his mic at the time, so he didn't hear this initial message. So when Don finally came back to his mic, I told him that she said that she was gonna be here for a little bit and then she was gonna leave. And she started lashing out again.
When nobody talking to you. That's your problem. That's your problem.
She started getting real disrespectful too, talking about my hair and all that. Calling me a talking about some.
Yeah, get mad. Get mad.
Well, now that we're all here, here's my response to you. Since you want me to let you know when I grow some hair, right? How about this? Let me know when you get your license. Let me know when you get a car. Let me know when you learn how to drive. Let me know when you stop being easy. Let me know when you stop spending hundreds of dollars on Ubers. Let me know when you stop going all in on people you just met for 2 weeks. Let me know when you stop opening your legs for people that you just met 2 days ago. Let me know when you stop being a slut. Let me know when you stop letting people pipe you down in the backseat of their car while you claim that you liking another dude. Let me know when you stop being passed around within friend groups. Let me know when you can go 3 months without flirting with somebody or being in a relationship. Let me know when you learn to use your own brain rather than feeding off the information that everybody is telling you. Let me know when people will stop being able to see your naked body whether they with you or not. Let me know when you finally close that big mouth of yours and finally use your ears. Let me know when you grow some backbone. Let me know when you stop believing that the only way to keep a man is with sex. And finally, let me know when you stop hanging with and defending a pedophile considering you're a rape victim yourself. You're actively supporting the own method of your trauma because children can't give consent. So what will a predator resort to? Force. And what is forced sexual activity? That's called rape or sexual assault. You stupid hoe. Now this section might not be as long as the other ones, but this is the issue. Joku, no, forget that. Brandon is a weird dude. This last situation was the breaking point, and it's what made me decide that I wanted to make this video. Now, Joku used to be a part of the group. He used to date one of the females in the group. Their relationship ended when Joku decided he wanted to catfish Jalen. Jalen and Yaz have about the same amount of brain cells. They are very gullible, very, very gullible, and will believe just about anything. Now, Joku, knowing this, decided to pull this prank and thought that we would laugh along with him. Nobody found that funny, and we kicked him out right afterwards. Now, the next time we see him, he's in another relationship with somebody whose Xbox gamertag goes by Wi-Fi Chan. Now, I didn't want him to be in those parties. I had to tolerate him because of the people who actually wanted him in there. Fast forward some time, and Nezuko, that's the gamertag of the female that he used to go with before. All right? She joins the party and everything is regular. You know, we just in the party, talking, playing games, stuff like that. So we playing Minecraft one day. And this was a time where everybody wanted to write a journal. It was like a little, the little book, people could type out what they wanted to inside the book. So what people started doing was typing out how they felt, just explaining your thoughts in the book. Nothing odd, nothing off, It was just wholesome stuff, wholesome moments. Everybody has them a little book, talking about how they feel. They keep it to themselves or they share it if they want to. But Joku has a book. And it's explaining how he feels about everybody. Nothing really stands out until you get to the part about Wi-Fi and Nezuko. Wi-Fi, the woman that he is dating at the time, only gets mediocre lines, not even a half page long. Now you may be sitting there thinking, ain't nobody finna write no big essay in no Minecraft book. And I would agree with you. However, when he got to the page about Nezuko, it did nothing but explain how he still had feelings for her. And it was over a page long. So when the book was found, he was called out. And it seemed as though Wi-Fi and Joku had broken up, considering that Joku was in a whole relationship with Wi-Fi for multiple months at a time, but actively acknowledging how much he misses Nezuko. You would believe that they would stay away from each other. But no. Wi-Fi, on her Yaz timing, takes him back. And whenever I was to say something about it, she would just get quiet or change the subject or act like I wasn't talking. So when he started coming back to the parties, that's when I knew something was off. And one of those three was inviting him back. It was either Wi-Fi, Sean, or Talik. And that's when it hit me. We letting too much stuff slide. So I had to go. I knew eventually it was going to have to happen. Hey, it is what it is. You do wrong, you get what you deserve. Hopefully, But in Joku's case, he could do whatever he want. He never liked his women smarter than him. He dated Sophina Plays, bruh. Sophina Plays. Sophina ain't no better than Yaz. So as long as he can manipulate him, he'll love him to death. And that's how we got this right here. Grown man worried about another man's relationship? Or am I just somebody that actually cared about how somebody else felt? Because apparently you didn't. You didn't care enough when you tried to cheat. You didn't care enough when you was writing all them pages. You didn't care enough when you was expressing how you felt about your ex while you in a relationship with another woman. So why weren't you worried? And my question for Wi-Fi is, why would she take something like this back? It's clear as day that man does not care about you. And it's easy to see because people who cheat are usually unsatisfied with the person that they with, or they lack commitment, or both. And for him to try to cheat on you, that clearly tells you that he does not want you. And it's simple as that. But for you to take him back, you are slower than Jalen. Because even Jalen avoids Joku after what he did to him. You ran right back to that man. Joku is one of those dudes who only has confidence when he's around people that he knows, or around people that he knows is going to ride his bandwagon, whether he's right or wrong. And now he has Sean and Talik on his side, two people who going to let anything slide, including pedophilia, along with Yaz, who is only going to do what somebody else tells her to. And this is the man that Wi-Fi considers worth having. Brandon, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And Jordan, you ought to be ashamed of yourself too.
None of you get it, you stuck in a way that you thinking it's not okay. Ay, what you believe in is lost today. I was conceiving it, ain't no way. Ay, you disappearing and wondering if they gon' miss you beside you, Jay. Yeah, you crossing over and over again, and now you'll see this way. Yeah.
I never expected to be making this type of video on you, bruh. You've been my homie for years. And had some of our funniest times together and all that, bro. This is just a disappointing situation, bro. But I gotta get you. I gotta get you for what you did. And I gotta get you for what you haven't done. What you did was talk mess about me behind my back, even when you were at least somewhat aware of what I was going through and what I had to do. And you still talked mess about me to that big mouth clown. And to let it be known, I never had nothing bad to say to you or about you regarding none of these situations. I found out that you was talking bad about me first. And that's just disappointing to hear. Because I was trying to get you to come along with us. That's what this big plan was. I wanted you to come along with us and we all just leave Talik behind. My plan for the past couple of years, to leave Talik behind. But if Talik is where you place your standing, then this is what I have to do. Sean, do acknowledge that you are defending a pedophile, that you are trying to keep his name safe, for whatever reason it may be. And for that, you are wrong. My question to you is, why? You have the proof. You are the one that sent me all the pictures of him talking to a 14-year-old. You were the first person with the proof that he was a pedophile, but yet you still defend his name. You are aware of the females that he's tried it with. You are aware of his failures to do so, and yet you still defend him. So what does that say about you? If you are so willing to defend a pedophile and then act as if you do not care about what's going on, does that mean that from you not caring, you are indirectly supporting this behavior because you're not going to call it out or any of that? You're going to stay right there, defend him against anybody who questions him, and continue to act like none of this matters. This can't be the same dude that I knew. This can't be the same dude I used to look up to. This can't be the same dude that used to call stuff out as he saw it. You've fallen from grace, and that's a sad way to go out. Now, the reason why I'm making this section of the video It's not necessarily because GB is associated with those group of people. It's because of the hypocrisy behind his words in relation to that group of people. He will swear up and down that he is the smartest in the room because of quote unquote not hanging out with those people. But he will be in there a lot, playing with those exact same people, having a nice little laugh and all that, but then try to put me down as if he wasn't doing the exact same thing that I was doing. GB is the type of dude to attempt in being slick and try to play both sides of the field at the same time, while also staying in the middle and instigating. My question to you, Ephraim, if you are so adamant in trying to make yourself seem smarter than me or better than me by not hanging out with the same people, right? Why did you in fact hang out with the same people? There's literally recordings of all of us playing together, so it makes no sense for you to be doing that. You would be talking about them behind their back too. If you felt so strongly about the things that they were doing, how come you're not making an exposing video like I am? And I'm not trying to hear none of that, oh, it took you this long, it took you this long. You did nothing. You did absolutely nothing. You just sat there talking about what somebody else wasn't doing, while you yourself was doing absolutely nothing. I had a plan. I had a plan for years. Why you think I tried to get us all back together? I'm gonna give you a task, and we gonna see whose side you on. When this video comes out, I want you to share it. If you felt so strongly about the stuff that they was doing to try to persecute me because of it when I wasn't in control of who was in there and who wasn't, I don't know what type of landlord you think I am or whatever rule maker you think I am, but share the video. Share the video to your story. Like the post. Make a comment on the post. You ain't gotta be sharing it just because Apical Panda made it or something. You could be sharing the post because this is what you've been waiting for the last couple of months. Those people that you had felt so strongly about for the last couple of months finally getting exposed publicly. Now let's see how you feel about this. Let's see if you're gonna share it. And for those who are hearing this, if you don't see this video on his story or something, when he felt so strongly about Talik being a pedophile, Sean defending that mess, and all that different type of stuff, and Joku and all that stuff that he been saying for the past couple months, if you don't see this on his story, then that means that I'm right about him trying to play both sides. You're gonna have to make a decision here sooner or later, GB. You felt so strongly about this. You got what you wanted. I didn't make this because of you. I made this because this is how I felt. This was a part of my plan. So with that being said, share it, GB. Share the video. Like the video. If you still listening past your sections, Talik, GB will be sitting there saying stuff about you and then going to play Roblox with you. Sean, GB will have comments on your behavior when it come down to Talik, but will still go in and play Roblox with you. Yes, GB has had something to say about you too. Joku, GB has definitely had a lot of stuff to say about you. Now, share the post, GB. Share it. We gonna see who you really siding with when it comes down to this situation. Let's see who Ephraim really supports.